everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you guys how to finally make 5 of the Among Us accessories you can dress up your little character with, and this is going to be part 1 because these are actually interchangeable. So let's get started. So first we're going to make the cat hat. So to start, you want to make a slip knot and chain 15. Once you finish your chain of 15, you're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And if you guys don't know what a single crochet is, you stick your hook into the stitch and you yarn over and pull through the stitch, and then you yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. And you want to do this all the way until the end of the row, and you should have 14 single crochets at the end. Once you finish that row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work to start on the next row. So in this next row, you're going to start with a single crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease. And a decrease is where you put your hook through the stitch and you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to go directly into the next stitch and pull through all 3 loops. And then you're going to single crochet until the end of the row, but you want to leave 3 stitches left because we're going to do another decrease and a single crochet. Once you're here at the end, we're going to do another decrease. So you're going to put your hook through the first stitch, have 2 loops, you're going to go through the next and have 3, and then pull through all 3. Then you're going to go into the next and do a single crochet, and that's the end of the second row. Now we're going to work on the third row, and you're going to do another chain 1 and turn your work. And on this row, you're just going to single crochet in each stitch until the end. Once you finish your third row, you're going to chain 1 again, and we're going to work on the 4th row, which is another decrease row. So you're going to chain 1, single crochet in that first stitch, and you're going to do a decrease in the next 2 stitches, just like this. And then you're going to single crochet across until you have 3 stitches left at the end, and do another decrease and single crochet. So again, we're here at the end with 3 stitches left, so we're going to do a decrease just like this, and you're going to do another single crochet, and now we're going to work on the ears. Now for the ears, you're going to do a chain 1 and you're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. For the next row, it's kind of a weird pattern because I don't really know what it's called, but you want to chain 1, turn your work, and you want to put your hook through each stitch and pull up a loop, and then just go into the next one, pull up a loop, go into the last stitch and pull up a loop, so you have 4 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4, and then from here you're just going to do a chain 1 and another chain 1 to make the point. Yeah, that's how I made the ears, and I don't really know, I never seen anyone do this, but that's what worked for me. And then after that, you just want to cut off your yarn and kind of adjust it so that it looks like a point, and as you can see, it looks like a point, right? Right. Now we're going to just make the other ear. So you want to make a slip knot on your hook first, and then you want to attach this onto your piece by making a single crochet in the 3rd stitch from the end on the other side. Then you want to just complete this row by single crocheting until the end, and you should have 3 single crochets on this side now, just like you did on the other one. And we're going to do the exact same thing like we did. So you're going to chain 1, you're going to turn your work and put your hook through each stitch, pull up like this, so you have 4 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4, and then you're going to do a chain and then another chain. And then you can cut off your work from here, and from there this half is done. So you want to make 2 pieces, and then at the end we're going to have to sew them together. So now once you've done your 2 pieces, you're now going to cut off some yarn and you're going to thread it through your tapestry needle so that we can sew together the 2 pieces. So you're going to take the 2 pieces like this, and you're going to put them on top of each other, and you're going to start on one side, and you're just going to sew it all the way around the edges. But you don't want to sew the straight line at the bottom, because that's where we're going to put just nothing. That's how the hat is going to go onto our little character. So you want to make sure that your loose ends are on this side, because this is going to be flipped inside out, and you're going to see the right side when you're going to flip this. So you want to make sure all the loose ends are on this side so that it's going to look cleaner on the outside and you don't have to weave in your ends later. Once you reach the other side of the piece, you want to make sure that you tie a knot at the end so that it doesn't get loose and unravel. So you want to make a knot and then cut off your work, or cut off your yarn, and then you want to flip it inside out and poke your fingers through the ears so that they poke out. Once you've done that, you can see the little hat is really cute, and I really liked how it looks. So the last thing to do is just sew on the circle eyes at the front. Now, taking your orange yarn, you're going to just cut off a little bit for sewing, and then you want to thread it through your needle, and you just want to sew 2 little circles. You want to align them with the inner part of the ear, like here. So the inner part is right here, so you're going to start sewing it through here. You're going to go through the back first, and you're going to come up from the front, and you're just going to try to sew on a circle. It doesn't really matter what technique you use. You can also use felt and just glue it on or sew it on, but I didn't have any, so I just had to do my best and try to sew on a circle. So as you can see, I finished the other eye, and it looks very, very weird because I'm not really good at sewing. But once you're done, you can cut off your yarn inside, and you can tie it with any loose ends inside to make sure it's secure. And after you do that, you're actually done. Now we're going to move on to making the mask. So to start, you're going to make a slip knot and chain 8. So after you've chained your 8 chains, you're going to double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. This over here counts as a double crochet, so right now you should have 2, and then you're going to start on your third one, and you want to do double crochets until the end of this row, and you want to have 7 at the end. Once you finish, you're now going to work on the second row, so you're just going to turn your work and you're going to put a single crochet right on top of that first stitch and put a chain 1, and that counts as a double crochet. So next you're going to just single crochet or double crochet until the end of this row, and don't forget to double crochet on top of that extra like chain up, I guess, at the end. This right here is the extra like double crochet, so you make sure you want to add a double crochet on top of that also. Now we are going to work on the border. So to work on the border, we're going to chain 1, and you're going to add 2 single crochets on the side of this double crochet, and on the next double crochet you're going to add 2 single crochets on the side like this. So we're going to be working around. Now once you finish that, we're going to chain 1, and you're going to put a single crochet in each of these like stitches here. So you want to just do that. If you're ever confused on this part, you basically don't even need to follow this. You can just single crochet around this whole square or rectangle and it should be fine, because I'm just doing this border to make the edges more smooth. Once you've reached the other side here, you're just going to do another chain 1, and you're going to put 2 single crochets on the side of this double crochet, and on the next one you're also going to add 2 single crochets on that side. Now for the last one, we're going to do another chain 1, and you're going to single crochet in each of these stitches. So make sure you want to crochet here so that it looks more square, and you want to just single crochet in each of these stitches. Once you've reached the end, you can just slip stitch back into this first stitch to end it off, and you're going to want to cut off your yarn. You don't have to cut off one for sewing, because you can just weave this end in the back. Now that we're done with the base, we can now make the string. Now we're going to connect this to the side right here. So you want to make a slip knot on your hook, and then insert your hook into the third chain from the top of the mask. And what I mean by the top is you want to make sure it's facing how the mask would be facing, like sideways, and just insert it into the third chain right there, or it doesn't really matter, it's just, you know, on the side. And then you want to chain a total of 20 or 25 depending on how loose or tight you want the wrap around the crewmate to be. So yeah, and you're going to want to slip stitch it to the other side so that it connects. once you're done with that, you can just tie it off and cut off your yarn and sew or weave in the ends at the back again, and you should be done. Next is the one that I think looks really cute, and it's this safari hat, and this is actually also one of my favorites because it just looks really adorable on the crewmates. So to get started, you're going to want to make a magic circle and make 6 single crochets. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, you can check out the video that I have on my channel down in the description or in the iCard up here. Once you have 6 single crochets, you can slip stitch into the first stitch and chain 1 to start the next row. And in the next row, you want to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. You then want to slip stitch into the first stitch again. You want to do this after every row. Chain 1, and now we're going to start on the 3rd row. You're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. You want to do this all the way around. Now for row 4, we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches, then do an increase of 2 single crochets in the 3rd stitch. And you want to do this all the way around as well. Now we're done with the increases. We're going to work on doing a different stitch. Actually, it's going to be a back post stitch. So you're going to stick your hook through the back of the first stitch, in front of the post, and into the next stitch like this, and then you want to pull your yarn through the front, and you're going to come out through the back, and it's going to create like this curve to the back, I guess. Just, you can find other videos on how to do a back post stitch, and that's what I'm just doing here. And you want to do this all the way around the circle. Once you've finished all the way around, you want to slip stitch back into the first stitch that you made, and it should look something like this, where the top is like popping up, and you guys should be curved onto the back of this now. So you want to put a single crochet in each stitch around this row. And after you're done with this row, you want to make another row of single crochets around, and then I'll meet you back then. Once you finish your 2 rows of single crochets, we're going to work on the kind of edging now. So now we're going to do a front post stitch. So you're going to go in through the front, through the back of the post, and through the other side of the other stitch, and then you're going to do a single crochet. So you're just going to do this around. Again, you can find more detailed videos on how to make a front post stitch, but yeah, you're just going to do this all the way around. Once you're done with that, you want to slip stitch back into the first stitch that you made, and as you can see, it's already kind of going to be sticking out in the opposite direction, so it's going to look like the safari hat. Now we're going to do another increase row. So we're going to chain 1, you're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches and increase into the 4th stitch, and you want to do that all the way around this row. Now once you're done with that row, we're going to do another increase row. So you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches and do an increase in the 5th stitch, and you want to do that all the way around. Now for the last row of increases, we're going to do another round. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches and increase into the 6th stitch. 6th stitch, yes. Now once you're done with that, you want to single crochet or slip stitch into the first stitch again, and we are actually done with the top of the safari hat. Oh my gosh. And then you're going to tie off your work, and then you're going to cut it off, and you want to weave in your ends inside the piece. So we're now going to be using a smaller weight yarn and a smaller hook, just so that the string looks a bit smaller and it doesn't look so bulky around the crewmate's face, I guess. So you want to flip your safari hat underneath, and you want to stick your hook through any stitch here in the middle right here, and you want to single crochet into that, and then you're going to chain a total of 25 or 20 depending on how loose or tight you want it to be around the crewmate's face. and then you're going to slip stitch onto the other side of that to end it. Once you're done with that, you can tie off your work and cut off the yarn and sew in all your ends into the inside of the hat, and then that's pretty much done. Now this next one is the flamingo hat that didn't really go as planned. I made it a little too big, but I still really love it. So we're going to start by making a slip knot on the hook and making a total of 26 chains. And once you have that, you want to slip stitch into the first chain and make sure your string is not twisted. Next, you're going to chain one and put a single crochet in each chain around. You then want to put a slip stitch into the first stitch of that row to connect it. And you want to do this after every round, just like we did in our last ones. And now for the second row, you're going to chain one and you're going to put one single crochet in the first single crochet and you're going to increase in the next. And then you want to do this all the way around. Now for the third row, we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches and an increase into the third stitch. And you also want to do this all the way around. Now I think this is where I definitely messed up on making it too big. Instead of following what I did in the video, I'm just going to tell you guys to do 1 row of single crocheting around. So in the video you're going to see that there's 2 rows of single crocheting in each stitch, but just do 1 round. Now for the next row, you're going to do a decrease row. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches and then a decrease. So if you guys don't know what a decrease is, I'll show you guys in a second after I do these 2 single crochets. A decrease is basically putting your hook into the next stitch and putting your hook in directly into the next stitch as well to have 3 stitches on your hook, and then you just pull through all 3. Now for the next row, you're going to put a single crochet in the next stitch and then a decrease in the next. And you want to do this all the way around as well. Now for this last row, you're just going to single crochet in each stitch around and then cut off a long tail for sewing because we're going to sew this right after. Now you want to tail the thread. You want to thread the tail end through the. Oh wow! You want to thread the tail end of your yarn through your tapestry needle and sew together the two inside pieces right here, kind of like you're sewing a donut where the inside is kind of hollow and you're sewing these two pieces together. So you just want to stick your hook through the stitch and through the other stitch opposite of that, and the stitches should actually be the same on both sides. So yeah, each stitch should have a stitch of their own to go into, and also you want to stuff this as you go so that it's not going to be hard to stuff later. Once you're done stuffing your piece, it should look something like this, and you can tie a few knots through the end, and you can just stick your you can just stick your needle through anywhere in the project and cut off your yarn from there. We're first going to start off with the beak. For the flamingo, we're going to make a magic circle and make 4 single crochets. You're then going to slip stitch into the first stitch and make a chain 1 to start on row 2, and then in row 2 you're going to put a single crochet in the first stitch and an increase in the next stitch. And again, when you're done with this row, slip stitch into the first stitch of that row. And then after you do this, you want to cut off your yarn here actually, because when I did this second or third row of single crochets, it just was too big for the flamingo head. So you only want to stop after the increase row so you can cut off your yarn, leave a long tail for sewing, and set it aside, because when I did this it was really big on the face, so don't mind this clip. Now for the flamingo head, you want to make a magic circle and put 4 single crochets. Slip stitch into the first stitch again, and then you want to chain 1 and put an increase in each stitch around. Then for the third row, you're going to put a single crochet in the first stitch, and then you want to put an increase in the next stitch, and you want to do this all the way around. And then for the fourth row, you want to put a single crochet in each stitch around. Now for the next row, you want to put another row of single crochets all the way around. You then want to place the eyes around row 3 and 4, and you want to just place the backings into the eyes so that they're secure, and as you can see, the beak will fit nicely right there. And then for the next row, you want to put a single crochet and then a decrease, and you want to do this all the way around. Then you want to lightly stuff the flamingo head. Then for the next row, you're going to decrease all the way around. Now in this clip you can see that my yarn's cut off, but you do not want to do that. You just want to pull up the yarn so that it doesn't unravel, and you want to put the beak on. You want to sew it on. Now I had to attach my yarn back on, but where you left off you want to single crochet in each stitch around, and you should have 4 single crochets. So you just want to single crochet in each of that for the next 4 rows, or however long you want the flamingo neck to be. You then want to stuff the neck very slightly. I actually had to use some pointed scissors to get a little bit of stuffing into the neck, but then after you do that you want to sew it onto the top portion of the like round part of the flamingo, kind of like a, what do you call it, one of those pool things, one of the things that you put in the pool and you sit on. Yeah, those things. You want to just sew it on there and then you're done. Now for the last and final one is the beanie, and I really love this one because it just looks so cute. Now to start off, you want to make a slip knot and chain 6. You then want to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and down the end of the row, and you should have 5 single crochets in total. Now that you have that, we're going to start on the basic ribbing. So you're going to chain 1 and we're going to work only in the back loop of the stitches. So we're only going to work in this part right here. When you look from it at the top, you only want to work in the back loop of the stitch. So it's going to create like a ribbing pattern, and you want to do this for every row. So we're no longer going to be working through the stitch, we're only going to be working in the back loop. Once you're done with that row, you want to chain 1 and only work in the back loop of this next row as well, and you want to repeat this pattern until you have 24 rows, including these 2 rows. Once you have your 24 rows, you want to make sure it's not twisted and put the ends together because we're going to sew it. So you want to put the ends against each other like this, and then you want to stick your hook through the chain that you have on your hook like this and through the other chain as well, and then you want to make a slip stitch, and then you want to do this until the end of the row. Once you're done with that, you're going to turn your work inside out and tuck any ends inside the project, and then you're going to do a chain up of 2 and count that as a double crochet, and then you're going to double crochet around each of the sides of the single crochet. Once you come back around, you want to slip stitch into the chain 2 that you did here, and then you're going to do another chain 2 and you're going to double crochet around again. Now we're going to do a decrease row, so you're going to do another chain 2 and you're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and you're going to do a decrease in the next stitch. And if you don't know how to do a double crochet decrease, basically all you do is yarn over, put your hook through the stitch, pull up, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. With the 2 loops still on your hook, you're going to yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, pull up, and then pull through the next 2, and then you should have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to pull through all 3. That is basically a double crochet decrease, and you want to repeat the pattern of 2 single crochet and a decrease all the way around. Now for the last row of decreases, we're going to do another chain of 2, and then you're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to do another decrease in the next stitch, and then you're going to do this all the way around. Look at how cute it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're going to cut off a long tail for sewing. So just cut off a long tail and we're going to sew this closed. So you're going to thread your tail end through the tapestry needle, and then you're going to stitch from the inside out, like I always do, from the outside part of the stitch, just like this. So you want to go all the way around in each stitch, and then we're going to pull it closed so that it'll scrunch up and look like a beanie on the top. Then once you've pulled all of it and it scrunches up like this, you can just put your needle through the middle right here, and you can pull the yarn up like this, and then it should secure it. And then you can actually just cut off your yarn from here and leave the loose ends inside. And then when you're putting it on your crewmate, you can roll up this right here, and oh my gosh, it looks so cute. I love it so much, and I hope you guys do too. So hope you make this one, okay? And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and found it easy to follow through. Also, I'm so sorry if there are any errors in my instructions. College has just been so stressful for me and I'm so tired, but I was still able to get this video up to you guys. So all I'm asking is for you guys to please subscribe, like this video, turn on my notification to get notified every time I post. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!